Today we're talking about my Jackson RR7R. I think that I was destined to own this thing. I think it was fate that brought me to this thing, and I'll tell you why in just a second, because I know that sounds crazy. But before we do, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell notification, all that good YouTube stuff. And hey, if you like this shirt, if you like this design back here, or right here if you can see it better, I have stickers and shirts and all that kind of stuff in my merch store. Link down in the description if you want to go check that out. It's a great support to the channel, and I really, really appreciate it. So anyway, back to the guitar. It's a Rhodes, it's a Jackson, it's got a reverse headstock, and it's got 7 strings. How absolutely badass is that? You can't get much more metal than this without kind of venturing into BC Rich territory, so it's a really, really cool guitar. Reverse Jackson headstock with these satin finished Jackson branded tuners. So far, tuning stability has been rock solid. Maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, 22 frets, reverse shark tooth pearloid inlays. I think it looks absolutely incredible on this guitar. This guitar is loaded with Duncan Designed pickups. So far, pretty happy with the way that they respond and how they sound. Alder body doesn't weigh that much, sits pretty comfortably when you're playing it, and as you can see, all of the other chrome parts are also finished in satin. The RR7R was made in Japan, and as far as I can tell, they were only made in the year 2000. So why do I say that I feel like I was destined to own this guitar? Well, to just make a long story short here, it was listed at the Guitar Center in Sacramento, California, and I tried to call about the price because the shipping and tax is much more expensive out there, and to come from California to Georgia, it's expensive. They said they couldn't do anything because they gotta wait the 90 days on used gear. Cool, totally fine. Then the Performer happened, which if you don't know about that, go check out the videos that I made on those. It's a whole crazy story. Once I got that guitar settled, the Pennsylvania store that I ordered the Performer from said, hey, if you need anything, let us know. Well, I needed this, so I let them know. And basically the manager over there called the Sacramento store, kind of explained the situation with the Performer, and they worked out a deal where I got this for less money. So that's why it's here with me now. So was the pain and suffering of all that Performer nonsense worth it? Absolutely. So playability wise, this thing plays really, really nice. It sits comfortably with or without a strap. I have a strap on it right now, but I'm not wearing it, obviously. But playability wise, you know, it sits, it plays really, really well. Obviously, if you're primarily a 6-string player and you're going to 7, you do have to do a little bit of getting used to, you know, maybe playing a lead line where you think you're on this string, but you're actually on this string. It's just a little bit of an adjustment, but if you're experienced enough, it takes like 2-3 minutes to get used to it. As far as going from a 6-string to a 7-string neck, this isn't really a super massive change like you would think it would be. It is different. It's a little wider. This one feels a little thinner than my other Jacksons, but not in a bad way. Like I said, it's all really just an adjustment, you know, play it for a few minutes, you'll get used to it, you'll be fine. This is the first 7-string I've owned in a long time. The very first one that I ever owned was one of those LTD, I think they're called M17s. They're like 150 bucks, and I bought it years and years ago just to try out a 7-string because I hadn't up to that point. And it was a good introduction to the world of extended range. But there is one thing about this guitar that I'm not gonna say I dislike. I actually kind of like it. But it's something that a lot of people might have a problem with, and it's the headstock. Because I love the way that the reverse headstock looks. Don't get me wrong, I prefer this, I think. But have you ever played a Dean? Okay, if you've ever played a Dean, imagine the giant V-shaped headstock they got going on. Okay, so you've got this body shape with a massive headstock. It just feels like huge in your hands. And like I said, I think it's because it's the reverse headstock, because you have this longer side of the wood kind of facing you, and it just, I don't know, that sounds weird, I know, but it's something that I noticed immediately when I picked this up and started playing it. I'm like, man, this thing just, it feels like a Dean. Not playability wise, more looking at it wise. All in all, I really like this guitar. I went back and forth so much mentally thinking, is it worth the price? And it's worth it to me. I'm happy with it. I mean, it kind of fits into my looking for made in Japan Jacksons kind of thing and all that kind of stuff. Really happy with it. If you can find one of these on the used market, I highly recommend picking one up. I would definitely try one out in person if you can, even like one of the X series, something like that, if you can find one, just to see if you like the Rhodes shape as a 7, because I know a lot of people think that V shapes are kind of funky to play anyway. So that's kind of my advice to you. Try one out before you play it. Obviously, I have a couple of V-shaped guitars already, so I know that I like them, but again, word of caution. And also maybe try just a 7-string in general to make sure that you actually like a 7-string. So there you go, guys. Like I said, really like this guitar. Highly recommend picking one up, either from the X series or this one if you can find it. If you like the video, please make sure you like, subscribe, all the good YouTube stuff. Again, if you like the shirt, links in the description to my merch store if you want to go and support the channel in any other way besides just subscribing, like I always say. And thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time.